BlackRock, NVIDIA-backed group strikes $40 billion AI data center deal. So this is coming at us from Reuters. I'm reading directly from the article. An investor group, including BlackRock, Microsoft, and NVIDIA, is buying one of the world's biggest data center operators with nearly 80 facilities in a deal worth $40 billion to secure coveted computing capacity for artificial intelligence. The purchase of U.S.-based aligned data centers from Australia, Macquarie Asset Management on Wednesday is the first deal for the AI infrastructure partnership formed last year, which includes Abu Dhabi-based MGX and Elon Musk's startup XAI among its backers. Seems like the Saudis or like the Emiratis and Elon Musk are just always in these stories. It's the usual cast of characters. I don't really have anything to add to this in terms of like what this means for the traditional data center field, other than $40 billion deal and acquiring like one of the largest data center companies in the world. I mean, it seems like every single week you don't think that another crazy headline with another eye-popping number can come out, and then it does. So I guess my open question to the panel here, are we getting frothy here? What's going on? I mean, obviously things seem to be getting frothy. I think the biggest question for people right now is like, how much does this rhyme with the .com boom? Because the thing that I keep coming back to is like, unlike the .com boom, I can actually go on to ChatGPT and see my productivity increase immediately from this. So, yeah.
Microsoft, maybe 2 years ago, the CEO of Microsoft came out and said, I think the biggest risk for us right now isn't over allocating to under AI, it's under allocating. And so maybe there is a bit of a boom and people are overpaying for price right now, but it feels like we're overpaying for this compute right now. But maybe we're just in price discovery, and that's just the price of compute. So I think that, I do actually believe that maybe at the time, the Microsoft CEO, I think that when he said that, it was very poignant, especially at the time, that over allocating is less risky than under allocating. And it seems like they definitely reaped the benefit of that thesis, and probably that stays true. So even if you over allocate today, your ability to monetize that compute is certainly going to be there for a long time, because AI is not going anywhere.
And we've seen that with the crazy contracts that guys like Zuck are trying to sign for some of these engineers, right? It's like, what is it, like $1 billion over 10
Literally
years?
$1 billion. Yep. They're like going to and saying, we'll give you $1 billion. And to them, that's a rounding error, because if they are able to capture even 1% more of the market because of that brilliant person's, input, that's right, way more than $1 billion. So, it's certainly, it is frothy, but I think it's for good reason, where you kind of see other, big run-ups, very speculative run-ups where there isn't as much substance, like .com era. Hey, even if you look at the .com era, yeah, maybe they overran, but there was a lot of value in the .com era actually generated. Google is the product of a .com era. Actually, all of the companies that we talk about today are the product of .com era. And I guess it really just comes down to, are you allocating the capital correctly, or are you kind of chasing the rabbit, I guess.
The .com era certainly got ahead of its skis, but was right eventually. But what this kind of reminds me of a bit, because it's so physical, is car manufacturing, which like built out the Rust Belt, right, and didn't really actually get ahead of its skis. And so it could be like that. When you have something that's that much of a breakthrough, it could be like that. Now, maybe it is a bubble and it's going to get too frothy. There's certainly a lot of speculation that happens in markets. I mean, there's not an asset class out there right now that isn't like at all-time high, and these things don't tend to happen in a straight line. So I'm sure there's going to be, corrections on the way. Is it going to be a bubble bust, I think, is kind of the question you're getting at, Colin. And that it's hard to tell. It's how much of a breakthrough invention is this? How much is it going to impact our productivity and GDP, right? It could grow us out of a pretty nasty, financial hole potentially, right? But when I look at this story in particular, I think it just like is a beacon call on the sense of urgency that there is, because we're talking about NVIDIA, Microsoft, and BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, right? Microsoft, big seven firm, NVIDIA, largest company in the world, $40 billion with a B, right? That's larger than all of the listed Bitcoin mining stocks like a year ago. Now because of AI, I think we're around like 90 billion, right? So still like half of the market. But it can't be understated how much investment there is. And this is just a singular acquisition, right? Buyout of the physical side of AI too, right? The data centers. But this is, we've been talking about this story for over a year, and we're going to continue to talk about it. I think like ChatGPT's really blow up moment was like November of last year, maybe. Is that right? So we're not that far into this yet.
Yeah.
Right. We're just not.
I really like the analogy to the auto boom, because obviously the .com boom had a physical side to it. You had to build out data centers. You had to build fiber. You had to build all the infrastructure to support the internet. But the CapEx spend and the infrastructure need for AI and HPC loads is drastically larger, right? And so this feels much more like a physical hardware kind of boom, right? Rather than the software boom that we've experienced since the .com bubble, right? And up until this point. Obviously, there's still software involved in this, but my point is the focus here is much more on energy, much more on making sure that we have enough data center capacity.
One last note here. It's like OpenAI, right, is like the front end that we use. ChatGPT, that's kind of the software side of things. I think their valuation is very high. They're one of the largest private companies in the world. Something like they raise at like 500 billion. But you read how much is being spent on these energy deals and the physical side of the data centers, right? And it dwarfs the software side. It absolutely does.
100%. We're getting back into builder mode, boys.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the episodes we put out. Also, check us out on Spotify, Apple, and elsewhere.